ideas for this. It was called The Other Main Six, The Grand Tour of Equestria, The Princess of Stress, The Wedding in Ponyville, 100 episode premise. We began to just give up. And then 22 shorts on Equestria. So I was constantly like, I don't even know.
We tried to get something that they would agree to, and it just wasn't happening. And then there was one day where Amy, Megan, and I were in a room. We were trying to figure out how to do this. It was super late already, and Amy came up with this idea of doing a wedding as a framing story, because then you can include food and dresses and all the attendees, music, and all these elements flowers, elements we could pull from. And it was, all three of us just like, there it is, that's it, we got it, that's our framing style. So then Amy went and wrote, not this, not the thing I'm showing you, something else. And they were like, meh.
Yeah.
So then I had a conversation with Amy, because I was writing The Lost Treasure of Griffinstone, which got approved, and Amy was sitting there rewriting and not getting paid. And I said, do you want to just swap and get paid? And she said, yes.
Yeah.
So that's when I took over this, and I started all over again, because this one was really tough because the hub was heavily involved, and they usually weren't. They were usually pretty hands-off, but they wanted to stunt cast it and get all these David Tennant and Jeff Bridges and all these big voices. None of them actually happened. And so this is Amy's original premise before she left. So this is, okay, so I even when I took it over, I didn't really know what to do, because from conception, I thought this was a terrible idea to showcase the background ponies, because you guys had made characters out of them. And for us, Lyra is not Lyra, she's background pony number 3. You know, she doesn't have any personality. You guys made them into living characters, and who am I to come along and stomp on what you created and say, you're wrong, this is Lyra. Go out, and they were like, do it. Stomp on. So I was sitting and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? This is horrible. There's no way to do this that's going to be good. And then I remember it was a Saturday afternoon. I was in my office and I was like, I know what to do. Just accept that this is a fan episode and just go for it. Just go all out. And you can see here's some batshit insanity on a page. That's what it was. I was like, I'm just going to throw every single reference, pandering, everything I can possibly think of in here. And then it was fun. Then I was like, oh, I like this. Like a normal outline is 4 or 5 pages, and mine was 10 pages long for the same 22 minutes, because it was so filled with characters and references and so many things that got cut. There's a lot of stuff that got cut out.
Did you know a lot of this stuff before this, or did you have to dive in and learn a lot of this?
What I tried to do, is you can see here in the second paragraph, my operating theory is to take some small thing that has been seen in the show. For example, how Bon Bon always has a different voice every time she speaks, and somehow make a character like that. What I didn't want to do was take fan ideas and put them in the show. I wanted to try to take things out of the show and these background characters, so that's where I came up with the idea that she was undercover agent, because she keeps having different voices. So I just took little things like that and tried to spin them out into characters, because I knew if I took what you guys had done, it would not end well. And the only thing that at that point they really wanted was, there's 3 acts. They wanted to have Derpy and Dr. Hooves together, they wanted to have Lyra and Bon Bon together, and Octavia and Final Scratch together. And other than that, I got to do what I want. So I wanted to weave them all together through each other's stories and just have it be like batshit insanity. Just craziness. You have to watch it 3 or 4 times to get all the references. It wasn't quite as intense as I'd hoped, but I think it came out really well.
I think you accomplished that.
There was way more crazy. Yes. So here's an outline. 500%. This is an original outline. So there's only 3 pages, because I think I was trying to get across. Can you see it? So I had things in here like Namby-Pamby, who is referenced in Ponyville Confidential, but we never actually saw her. So enter Namby, this is when Featherweight is printing the invites. Enter Namby-Pamby, the previous editor of Featherweight's older sister. She changed the settings because Featherweight uses a sans serif font like an amateur.
I didn't read it. How can you read it before?
He says she changed the date, and now every pony's expecting a wedding tonight. So that explains why they were wrong. That got changed, obviously. It's actually better that it was Derpy's fault. In my original one, Vinyl Scratch talked because I didn't know she didn't talk, so for me, she was Brad Pitt in True Romance. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Great character. You should watch True Romance anyways, because it's an amazing movie, but when you see Brad Pitt, you'll know that's what I wanted Vinyl Scratch to be. But then Hasbro was like, she doesn't talk! And I'm like, yeah, none of them talk. What do you mean she doesn't talk? So then, this is the one I love that they cut. So while you're flying all around all over the place, the doctor races past Cranky, who's himself frantically running the other way, trying to get ready for the wedding. He's carrying armloads of flowers and things and hopping alongside of his Flash Sentry. And he's like, I don't understand. I wash your wagon every Saturday. I rake your lawn. Why am I not invited to the wedding? And Cranky's like, there's something about you I just don't like. And to their credit, Hasbro's like, we love this joke, but it's just too much of an inside joke, so they cut it. Then I had these characters, Dinky Doo, Truffle Shuffle, and Apple Bites, arguing about who's the best princess, and they kept popping in saying, no, Luna's the best princess. It was you guys. So here's Lyra is aghast. She says their whole friendship has been a lie, and that explains why your voice is always different. It's all been an act. So that's basically how I try to come up with these 6 characters who weren't actually characters. It was just, like I said, finding something in canon. This was a great joke that, you know, Sabrina Alberghetti, the Sipsy, the board artist, this is her joke that I thought was so hilarious. Everybody's pouring into the wedding at the end of the episode, the guests are milling about, coming in, and a group of background ponies walks up, and another group of background ponies walks up, and they're identical except they're different colors, they're recolored. And they look at each other and like, oh, this is embarrassing. It's such a good meta joke, it would have fit perfectly in the episode, but it got cut for some reason.
Aww.
Yeah, you could do a fan cut of this episode. I had a thing where Lyra had been kicked out of Octavia's band, and then they made up at the end in the wedding. They got together and they kind of buried the hatchet. That got cut as a little too complicated, but I like the idea that at the wedding, all these people who have been in conflict were now kind of coming together over love. And then this is my favorite joke of the whole episode, and it got cut, which was that in the middle of the craziness, you cut outside, and Celestia's Royal Guard and Luna's Bat Ponies are standing outside waiting, cracking each other up with Monty Python-esque impersonations of Celestia and Luna. And I got that because I worked for a really famous director in New York, and I used to hang out with his drivers all the time. He had multiple drivers, and his drivers would do this. They would like impersonate him. It was so funny. So I figured their guards would like, while they're off duty, would be like making fun of the princesses. Barry Shine rolls in with a cask and is like, told you to take care of Matilda. She's supplying all the booze for the party. And then my original ending, which I'm glad changed, was an establishing shot of the venue outside. It's the sunset washes over Ponyville. Everything is beautiful, the magic hour. You see the main 6 standing outside watching the ceremony. And there in the orange-hued sky, we see a distant swarm of changelings bearing.
Wow, Larson.
Slightly different vibe. I'm glad they cut that. This is, okay, so this is the actual outline. You can see it's 10 pages long. And it's filled with like footnotes and hyperlinks, you know, so if anybody at DHX or Hasbro click on this, it would link to the MLP wiki of who these people are. Minuet, Twinkleshine, Snooty Waiter, the Boulder is Tom. Look, Namby Pamby, it's got footnotes. The whole thing was like, you can see who all these characters are. Yeah, and then I also wanted them to add more, like put more in. The more that you can't have too many. I don't think there's anything I was going to show you. The biggest thing to change in this whole episode was the 3rd act. I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah, it's 10 pages long for the same 22 minutes. That's how fast it was supposed to be. This is just a document that they wanted me to make. It was a compendium of all these characters.
I mean, this shows how insane it is and how amazing it is, all the stuff you guys do, because it really is like Incidental Pony 4, Incidental Pony 5, like, they're nothing.
Yeah.
I guess the raid is starting early.
Sorry, you guys.
I knew we'd
Perfect.
I'll give him that.
You guys, excellent time. Sorry about this, man. I'll just read it to you. So I wanted to show you this because this is an email I got from the story editor on Cutie Mark Chronicles, and it says, they understand why we had our act breaks in the middle of flashbacks, but are wondering whether we might want to cut outside the story to see the Crusaders reacting. Cleared to go to script. One note, no problem.
Oh, you got it on blink mode, that's the problem.
I'm just gonna let it play with you guys. Oh, but it's not up there. We put it up there. This is a visual gag. There we go. Okay, so here's the extent of my notes on Cutie Mark Chronicles, right? Here's my notes on Slice of Life.
Whoa.
See them? Oh, really? Oh. It doesn't like full screen. You can see Vince. Okay, so look, you guys. Look at the notes.
It's
Look at
huge.
Look at the notes.
Even you can't see it, it's huge.
Look how much better they're making it. Yeah, this is my favorite one. This reference to Zecora feels obtuse.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, well, let me fix that. No problem. I'll make it less obtuse.
You can't just call somebody the Z, right?
Yeah. So clearly we were having some miscommunications with how this was working. So I wrote a come to Jesus email to everybody. Hello everyone, apologize in advance for the novel you're about to read, but I've been going through the note. Keep in mind, this is after months and months of working with Amy and me and just slogging through quicksand. And I'd had it. Going through the notes, talking with the Hasbro guys, I noticed a common theme to some of them that I thought might be good to discuss. From a big picture perspective, the purpose of this episode is to celebrate 100 episodes of MLP, and we've chosen to do that by highlighting the background characters, etc., etc. My concept has been to pack this with as many background and secondary characters as humanly possible. It's intended to go at breakneck speed with a mix of anchor stories and quick gags, coming at you so fast and layered you have to watch twice. That's why the narrative swirls through acts the way it does and has all those little one-shots. It's not about story, it's about energy, energy, energy. So then the rest of this is like, you keep telling me to cut every single gag that's not connected to the story, we're gonna end up with just a boring regular episode. And my whole point of this email is this is not a regular episode, this needs to be crazy. And to their credit, I just looked. When they responded, they were like, oh, we didn't really get that. That makes a lot of sense. So then I still had to deal with this.
The notes.
But it was a lot easier because I was like, no, this needs to stay. This needs to stay. This needs to stay. And then when you go to the script, no, I don't want to. This is the first draft of the script. Oh my gosh, I've lost
That's why you can't see it. Well, it's like 10 pages.
There's so many things that got cut, you guys. All right, I'll just tell you so many good jokes. 30 seconds. All right, I'll just tell the ending. So, well, okay. One thing I've never mentioned about this was there's a whole sequence where Coco Pomel comes to town. She goes to Golden Harvest. You know Golden Harvest? She goes to Golden Harvest's house, and Golden Harvest has this like evil mad scientist moment where she's like, Coco Pomel's like, I don't understand why you wanted me to make you a dress. She's got this green dress on for the wedding. When the greatest designer in Ponyville, Rarity, lives here, or in Equestria, Rarity lives here, and Golden Harvest goes completely villainous, and she's like, because Rarity embarrassed me and humiliated me in front of everyone when she criticized the color green, I had to dye my mane orange, which, right? One episode she's green and another episode she's orange. So her backstory is that Rarity ruined her life. Now she's going to show up in this green dress created by the hottest new designer in Equestria, Coco Pomel, just to stick it in Rarity's face.
Larson, you're evil!
Then, at the end of it, I can't remember what it was, but Coco Pomel's like, undercut it somehow, and Golden Harvest just stands there and she's like, oh, I never really liked green anyways, dude, can you make me a pink one? And Hasbro's like, so that kind of quiet. We have 15 minutes, sorry guys, I'm not gonna get to any of this stuff. It's all right.
Aww.
I'll tell you one more thing at the ending. So there's one thing I want to show you, but I'm not going to have time to do it. So this is my original Act 3, Octavia. When you come back from the commercial, you're on a stage, and it's kind of surreal. Octavia stands alone on a stage, spotlit. All around her is blackness. She plays her cello somberly, soberly, beautifully. Polite applause from the unseen audience. It should feel kind of unsettling. As she picks her tempo up a bit, strange things start to appear behind her in the darkness, animal eyes, and shadowy moon. The applause becomes the rattle of wind-blown branches. She notices but keeps playing, faster and more urgently. The stage fades away, and then Sombra appears, and he's got a fiddle.
What?
So then it's the devil went down to Georgia between Sombra and Octavia. They have a whole heated battle, and then all of a sudden you hear this thumping beat, and Octavia's like, whoa, what's that? And it wakes her up from this nightmare, and it's Final Scratch's beat. So then that's what leads into the third act between the two of them. And I had the hardest time with the third act because I couldn't quite crack how to do it, and they didn't like it, and fair enough, they were right. So what I ended up doing with the third act, eventually where the sound booth goes out of control through town, is I stole my own scene from a show that Nick and I used to work on.
But not in a copyright infringing way.
No, of course not. I wrote an episode on Kick Buttowski for Disney, where we worked together, where Kick is taking piano lessons. He's this little daredevil. He's taking piano lessons. He's so bored he wants to be outside. So the piano goes crazy running through town. It picks up characters along the way, exactly like the sound booth running through town. So I stole my own scene and put it in here. And I think it worked way better. I loved it. I love how DHX did the third act of this episode. It's so good. Here's the royal guard and the bat ponies making fun of princesses. So okay, that's it. That's it. Do we have a Q&A person to handle our Q&A? Somebody with a mic?
Line up in the center.
Line up in the center.
And speaking of bat ponies, I think I speak for everybody when I say that there is a criminal lack of bat ponies in the show.
So true. I totally agree.
Well, that's it.
Also,